Your boy is back. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, BDaMan, BDaMan, the man with the plan, all that jazz. You know the name. Obviously, it's been a while. Obviously, recent events had to, take a brief step back just to look out for me, just to get some peace, all that. Grieving as a motherfucker. But we'll do a video on that, pay tribute to the big bro, all that will come later. But you guys are here for Backlash predictions. Yes, Backlash predictions. Shout out to the homie JK coming up with the graphics as usual with my dope mug. Which, fun fact, I took just outside of my lady's place here. I think that was back in the fall. But yeah, we here for some Backlash predictions. We got Backlash a little less than 2 hours away. Fresh off of WrestleMania. Got a few new feuds. Got some stuff coming off the heels of WrestleMania, which, funny enough, I know my boy isn't watching right now, but my boy Nemo, who called it Heelomania, would find it funny that I said coming off the heels of WrestleMania, because it was indeed Heelomania for the most part. But alright, y'all, let me run down the Backlash card for you guys. So for tonight's card, we got I still don't agree with this match even happening on Backlash, but we got Pat McAfee against Gunther, Big G himself, Gunther. We got Intercontinental Champion Dominik Mysterio defending against Penta, Cero Miedo. U.S. title on the line. The new champ, Jacob Fatu, you know what I mean? Defending against Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and the former U.S. champion, LA Knight. Yeah. I said LA Knight. Yeah. We got Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria, defending against Becky Lynch. And the main event, a match we have seen so many times over the past, 23 years. John Cena, Randy Orton. Cena putting his title on the line, freshly won off of WrestleMania. Unfortunately, beating Cody Rhodes. With, unfortunately, the help of Travis motherfucking Scott against Randy Orton. Literally a clash of probably some of the bigger figureheads from the Ruthless Aggression era. But, alright, I'm going to run down my predictions, my thoughts on each match, give y'all what I'm thinking, who I think will win, and ultimately why, and maybe even some of what I think they're going to go with next. So let's break it on down, y'all. Alright, so Pat McAfee, Gunther. Now, I didn't expect Gunther to go on the warpath and be that pissed off to the point where he's in his feelings about losing to Jey Uso at WrestleMania, to the point where he's what year was it? Where he's essentially pulling a Brock Lesnar and whooping up on the commentators. Which was, oh God, what year was that? I think it was, I want to say it was after Mania 31, where Brock raised hell and whooped up on Cole. I think JBL even got astray. And maybe King, if I'm remembering correctly, but I think I could be wrong there. But that's about the last time I remember that happening. And the fact that Gunther picked on Michael Cole's old ass, like Cole said, or like Pat said, dude's much closer to 60 than he is 30. Cole's been around a minute. So Gunther straight up choking out Michael Cole, and Pat coming in for the save. Pretty much, you're not messing with my boy. I'll mess you up, the usual Pat loud shenanigans. And I mean, Gunther was vicious. He beat the tar dog shit out of Pat McAfee. And then Pat the next week wanting to challenge Gunther. And I know me and the homies were like, on one side of the coin, we're like, well, at least me, but a few of us were like, why is this happening at Backlash? Hey, what up, Nick? Good timing. I'm just talking about some thoughts about Pat McAfee and Gunther and kind of breaking that down. I was actually just telling the people how a few of us were like, why is this happening at Backlash out of all things, you know? But and taking away a spot, like that was the biggest complaint in my group chat with the Bad Boy crew. It's like, why is this happening at Backlash? But the homie Thornton, who's usually more middle of the board than the rest of us in the group chat, he made a point that, well, he made a point that, yeah, he agrees, but it's also a good way to get Gunther some dominance. Hey, what up, Mike? What up, bro? I was just telling the people how we were talking about when Gunther was getting challenged by Pat and how we were all like, well, this shouldn't really be happening at Backlash. I was just telling the people Thornton's point of it getting Gunther over as someone who's gonna fuck some shit up all over again. So, well, you know, I at first I was like, well, I don't really want it as a spot on Backlash. Like, that is a good point our boy Thornton made. Like, all right, it helps make Gunther feared by many again. Honestly, this one, it's an easy prediction. I won't even continue to recap how we even got here. Pat might have heart. See, I was gonna say something along the lines. Gunther is gonna absolutely destroy Pat. He's gonna unalive Pat. Even with Pat's speech about, you know, I'm defending honor. Which was a good promo from Pat, but no, Gunther's gonna tear him up. And just like my boy Mike said, he's gonna get mega heel heat when he does Pat like famous. Which, for the Raising Kanan folks out there, that famous. If you don't watch Raising Kanan, you might not get that, but I got it immediately. See, I was gonna say something. I don't know if you watched the newest episode, Mike, but I was gonna say something else that happens. But yeah, it's easy. Gunther's taking that one. The only way that Pat is going to win is if someone interferes to stop Gunther during the match. After the match, I think it's possible that there have been some rumors and speculation that one Bill Goldberg might come to save Pat. Not that I really want that to happen, but alright, if we're gonna get a Goldberg retirement match, let's get that shit out the way. Let's get Bill Goldberg on up out of here. I respect his career, but let's get him up on out of here if that's what we're going to end up have happening. Like, Goldberg saving Pat afterwards, okay, but no, that should be easy work for Gunther. I think Pat's gonna get in some flashy spots, the usual. I know, Mike, I don't want to see it either, bro, but I have a small inkling that's gonna happen with Goldberg coming through, man. I just have the strangest feeling. I hope not, though. I'd rather it be anyone else. You know, a feud that Gunther, a new feud that Gunther can have, someone to be like, hey, man, you need to get off Pat. But I hope it's not Goldberg, but you gonna see me on the stream later, real pissed if it's Goldberg. But yeah, Gunther, easy night for Gunther. Again, a few flashy spots from Pat, the big superplex spot he does, maybe a moonsault. But nah, Gunther, easy dub for Gunther. Easy day at the office. Alright, next up, we got Intercontinental Championship. Dominik Mysterio, new Intercontinental champ against Penta. Let me circle the block on what you're saying here, Mike. That senior citizen always comes back against one of the biggest stars. Bro, I was thinking about that the other day. Thornton had shared, what was it? The graphic from Super Showdown. It was what? I think it was just weeks before the pandemic, actually, so March of 2020. And I had a flashback to when I was watching that on campus, or on my way to class. Like, I started it before I left for class. And the angry thoughts I had all over again about how I felt when fucking Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt, and I came out of class and saw that, I was hot for the rest. Yes, thank you. I was hot for the rest of the day. I'm like I told the dude who worked at the cafeteria who I knew watched wrestling. I was like, "Hey, did you hear about Super Showdown?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not happy about that." But yes, that was the thought I had immediately. Hell, when he faced Drew McIntyre during the pandemic, even though that was solid, I'm like why? And then him and Braun Strowman, thank God that was a quick match. But yeah, that's what he does. Let's see. Nick said if Pat survives in 5 minutes, the entire Bad Boys will say Gator Nuggets. Yeah. You and your let's move on. I'll touch on that later, Nick. But all right, Dominik versus Penta. Now, off rip, my natural thought is all right. Dominik, he just won the title, right? Like how could Dominik lose, right? Now, I personally am going with Dominik to retain. I think you got Carlito, you got JD McDonough, who just came back. I think he's solid, right? The only weird caveat I could see is if Finn Balor somehow causes Dominik to lose tonight. I think it's a bit early for that, so I personally went with Dominik over Penta. I won't even really run down how this feud came about. I mean, there was a Fatal 4-Way match at WrestleMania with Dominik, Penta, Finn, and Braun Breaker, and like it's definitely been something that's kind of been brewing, right? Like Dominik was trying to get Penta on board with Judgment Day. Obviously, that wasn't happening. Dominik getting at all the luchadors, Penta, Rey Fenix, his deadbeat dad, all the other luchadors, and Dominik saying, "I'm the greatest luchador. I don't need to wear a mask. I'm not ugly, even though that mustache is ugly as fuck." So I don't know what he's talking about. And he's still his daddy's son at the end of the day. It's not like Ray was the best looking. I mean, that's a whole thing itself. But I think it's too soon for Dominik to win. This current era of WWE is a bit more unpredictable versus Vince's time, where like you could kind of foresee a lot of shit coming. I think there's a slim chance Penta comes out with the dub tonight, but I got Dominik retaining, and he's starting to, actually not even starting to, he's turning the corner, and the crowd is starting to love him, which is a crazy thing to me. That happened as early as when Raw was in Minneapolis last month, and I'm like I literally looked around, I'm like, what the fuck, what's happening here? Like, but yeah, I'm sure there's going to be shenanigans, but I think it's going to benefit Dominik Mysterio. Dominik Mysterio comes out of Backlash, retains that shit. I got Dominik retaining. Let me circle back to the chat here. Let's see. Mike said, going back to the Goldberg stuff, they had him take the title off the Fiend and lose it to Strowman. Yeah, I was so underwhelmed by that. I was like, okay, cool. Braun's gonna beat him. But yeah, that was so underwhelming. And Braun's title run during then was underwhelming too. So I remember being actually fairly happy when Roman came back and took it off him. Oh no, I think Bray, I can't remember. I'm kind of blanking if Braun still had it or if Bray had it. Actually, no, Bray had it. But yeah, I was glad Roman came back, because yeah, that was a whole thing. Yeah, bro. Dominik, he's got it. Dominik's taking it, in my opinion. All right, U.S. title. Got Jacob Fatu, coast to coast, post to post. I fucked up the order. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, LA Knight. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, when Roman won, that was when I felt like the Universal title was finally, back to where it should be in terms of like just feeling relevant, like, because when Goldberg had it, Uh, yeah, Goldberg had it, and then Strowman had it. It was just like, all right, like that's fine, but it wasn't really doing nothing. Let's see. I think Bray won the title from Strowman during that swamp match or whatever it's called. Oh God, I definitely remember the swamp match. I thought that was, huh? Yeah, I can't remember the order exactly off the top of my head, but I thought that was. I could have sworn that was like a non-title match, and then there ended up being a title match. I can't remember the order of how that went exactly, but yeah, hold on, I gotta look that up because that is gonna bother me. Hold on, let me pull this up. Cause I don't remember that being a title match. Swamp match. Okay, yep. Oh, I got you, bro. The Google AI overview says it was a non-title match. Cause yeah, Bray Wyatt dragged him down into the swamp, and then Bray came back as a Fiend. But I can't remember. I can't remember when the hell that title swap happened. Because I thought the Fiend had it for like a tiny bit before Roman took it. Like that's what I'm confused on for the life of me. Let's see, Bray Wyatt. Oh come on, Braun Strowman. Yeah, that's gonna bother me. Universal Championship. Okay. So, see, that's why I don't fucking remember it. Here's why. Because Bray won at SummerSlam, and then Roman came back after that. That's why. Yeah, hey, yeah, you got me right when I was saying it, Mike. Yeah, that's why. Yep, false count anywhere. But that's why, because they did the ring break spot. Bray won, and then Roman came back because then he was talking about "you're just a freak in the mask." Like that line is etched in my mind. So I'm like, damn, like this motherfucker was burying Bray. Like, but yeah, it finally came back to me a little bit once I looked it up because I couldn't remember it for the life of me. I'm like, when did he win that Universal title? But yeah, Bray only he had it for what, like all of like 2 weeks before Roman won it at Payback. Like it wasn't long, but Payback was the pay-per-view he won it because he signed the contract, and then but yeah, it was only like a week or two after. Like that was a crazy thing. It was only a week or two after, something like that. But all right, let me circle back to predictions here. So U.S. title match: Jacob Fatu defending Fatal 4-Way against Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and L.A. Knight. Yeah. So similar to the Intercontinental title match, Jacob Fatu just won that thing. He just won that thing. Just won it. So I think he's gonna come out retaining. Like nothing against Drew, Priest, or LA Knight. Yeah, but way too soon for a title change. Unless, which is more likely with this match, unless Solo ends up screwing Jacob out of the title, which that actually seems likely to happen. I caught up on SmackDown this morning, and Jacob all but told Solo to stay out the way. Yeah, I mean? Like, he all but told Solo to stay out of the way. And Solo talking about, Tonga's injured. Like, and I know Tama, he's got a minute before he's coming back. I don't know when Tonga Loa is supposed to come back. But Solo, it makes me wonder two things. One, if Solo knows some more family members are about to come through because Tama and Tongaloa are out, which makes me wonder, are we looking at more numbers for Solo and Jacob, or is Solo gonna do something to screw out Jacob? Again, I think it's way too early. I think there's a lot of room for Jacob in this title reign. There's a lot of room. And we got some interesting dynamic as is. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest just had their Sin City street fight at Mania. LA Knight, of course, just losing the title to Jacob. In normal circumstances, you could say that it go either which way, but I got Jacob retaining. I think it's too soon, personally, and even by WWE logic, it's still too soon. Now, again, just like with the Intercontinental title match, there is a thought of, okay, there's interference. There could be shenanigans. There could be a few things to happen. But I'm going to stick with my gut. I got Jacob Fatu. I got that crazy MF. As the big bro would say, that motherfucker ain't human. I got Jacob Fatu winning. Women's Intercontinental title match. Lyra, Valkyria, Becky Lynch. Now, this is actually the one I sincerely feel could go either way. Lyra, she's had it for... It's been a few months. And if Becky wins, I could see it solely being for the fact to elevate the title. And actually, as I say it, it makes me want to switch my picks for the wrestling group I'm in. Shout out to Nation of African American Wrestling. It makes me want to switch my pick because if that's a title change, if there's a title change to happen, I think that's the one. I think Lyra has proved herself as not only a good champion, even though the way Triple H has built the women's Intercontinental title and even the women's US title, you wouldn't really be able to tell, but Lyra's been doing a damn good job. And I say that even bias aside. I love Lyra. My lady, she loved what Lyra did last week. Held her own against Becky Lynch. My lady loved it, and I think Lyra's got a lot of room for potential. And I don't think a loss would necessarily hurt her, especially the way Becky not just came back, but that next night when they lost the damn titles. I think there's a lot of room for a Lyra-Becky feud to go for a few months. Maybe not as far as SummerSlam, although I could see it. But there's room to go there. There's room to go. So if this is going to be the match that goes either way, I think this is the one. And in real time, I almost want to switch my pick to Becky. Just because, again, I have a feeling that this feud is going to go one, maybe two more pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call it. So, damn, thinking about it in real time, I'm like, I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm with you, Mike. Like, I honestly had Lyra retaining, but I'm like, man, like, on second thought, that's so many, like, people retaining their title. And there's always that one title change. And I'm not trying to get caught slipping, thinking like, oh, Lyra's gonna win, retain. Nah, Becky winning would keep that feud going. Yeah, see? Thank you. That's another factor. I think, to your point, Mike, I agree with you. Becky winning could lead to Becky and Bayley heading into SummerSlam, which, if you want a marquee women's match, there you go. Becky and Bayley have put it down plenty of times throughout the years. And especially if it's over the women's Intercontinental title, that's a big boost to a newer title. You got half of the 4 horsewomen competing for this women's Intercontinental title in Becky and Bayley. I think that's it right there. And I think we might even see Bayley come back tonight, possibly. Make the save on Lyra's behalf. You know, we've gotten surprised with a few returns during these secondary PLEs. And I think that's two surprises in one. Becky winning, Bayley coming back whooping ass. You know? So, I think in real time, I'm going to switch my prediction. And I need to remember to do it for Nah. I'm going to switch my prediction. I have my heart says Lyra's going to retain. But my big gut will just, yeah. My big gut says that Becky is going to win. It's tough because it's a 50-50 thing right now, but I am leaning towards Becky taking it. I think her and Lyra could have one more month of a feud, and then it's Becky and Bayley. You know, which that feud's coming because Becky took out Bayley. So I'm switching it in real time. I'm going with Becky. And then we got the main event, y'all. We got the main event. John Cena, Randy Orton, two of the major faces of the... I mean, depending on how you look at it, two prominent faces, in the Ruthless Aggression era. Cena, Orton. Just like every other champion I mentioned, Cena just won a title. He just won a title at WrestleMania. We won't even go into the bullshit about how he won a title. That anyway, we won't go too much into that hole. But this is one of the easier matches on the card for me to predict anyway. Way too soon for Cena to lose the title. I'd love for Orton to get to 15. That would be dope. But if this is supposed to be the last time ever for Cena versus Orton, and I know card's subject to change, but if they're advertising Cena with the title in these advertisements, I don't see Randy Orton winning the title. Even if Cody Rhodes came back, right, and like whooped up on Cena, made it so Orton won the title, I don't know if I see that happening. I also don't have a list in front of me of the rest of Cena's dates for this year before he, hangs up the cap, the jorts, all of that. That's interesting, Mike. The only thing about that theory, no, Austin. The only thing about that theory, though, is that KO is injured. Like, he's out till, like, next year. Unless it's, like, a fake injury, which I doubt, but I'm curious to know how. I kind of want to hear more, bro. Like, how you think KO costs him? I know Owens is out for a hot minute. Like, they talking about he's not coming back until next year. So, I'm very curious, though, bro. You have my wheel spinning. What you think, Mike? How you think that'll work with Kevin Owens being injured right now? Yeah, Kevin Owens ain't back till next year. At least from what I've been hearing, and I think they mentioned out on TV, like, Kevin Owens ain't back till next year. I mean, that's what I'm hearing anyway, is that because I remember when they announced it, they were saying that he might even miss next year's WrestleMania. Like, I think they said that on WWE TV, not like dirt sheets, but yeah, I guess the odds of shenanigans in the match itself are kind of low, unless like Travis Scott pops his bitch ass head up and tries to get at Randy Orton, which I could see Travis Scott eating an RKO, especially in Randy's hometown, but I can't really see Randy winning it, especially with Cena's retirement tour, and nah, I do think something's gonna happen during or after the match. I can't quite call that, but I don't think it's gonna be. I feel like it'll be relatively straightforward of a match, and like obviously both are what's the word I'm looking for? Both are well diverse in the ring, well traveled. That's the word. Well diverse, well traveled in the ring. So, some might debate, oh, there's not going to be a clinic. Cena or Orton can't wrestle. That's up for debate. But I think now that they're both older, they're in their. Cena's literally in his last year. Orton, he's still claiming he got 5 more years. I will see. But I think we're going to see a good match, especially for the last showing. I think Cena's going to take it. I am wondering, though, 2 things. And this is what our buddy Joe is good for. What's going to be next for Cena? It's likely Cody. But what's going to be next for Cena? And what's going to be next for Randy? Because neither of them really have any, like, kind of obvious feuds on the horizon. Normally we kind of like have some sense, but like that hasn't really been too apparent. I mean, Cody for Cena, but we'll see. I'm hoping that they circle back on Punk and Cena. That I really want to see that before Cena's done. As a CM Punk guy, I got to see Punk and Cena one more time, but I think this is gonna be. I won't even go on record and say a clinic because I ain't trying to have folks try to call me out. But I think it's gonna be a good one. I don't know his exact date, his exact last date, Mike. I'm not sure. It's sometime in December though. I don't know his exact last date, but it's sometime in December though. So I'm not. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. That is a real good question. Let's see, John Cena. Let's see. Let's do PW Mania. Oh wait, no. Let's do Fightful. Oh, don't give me a Meltzer quote. Shit. Okay, so, Micah's last date isn't announced yet. The latest one they have is when they're in Perth, Australia. So that's October 13th, but it doesn't say. Yeah, October 13th is the latest one they have for now, but I know in interviews he said he's going all the way to December. So none of those have been announced yet, but shit, I'm sure we'll see, but yeah, I'm curious to see how that ends up going. Like with what's next for Cena, what's next for Orton. Like I'm curious to see, but I got Cena retaining. Let's see, my boy Nick. Let's see his predictions. He's got Cena retaining, Gunther whooping that Pat McAfee ass, Lyra retaining, okay, Dominik retaining, and Jacob Fatu retaining. Okay. That's solid. That's actually, that's my exact picks. As of now, anyway, I need to make that switch to Becky. Actually, I'm going to do that on camera right now. But, yeah, I'm very torn. Oh, my boy Christian. I'll check that out in a second. But, yeah, I'm very torn on that Lyra-Becky match. But on camera, I am going to switch that shit to Becky. That seems like the more... There's always that curveball, and I'm not even taking a risk. I'm like, nope, I am about to go with that choice. Mike, while I update these, what are? Cause I know Nick gave his. What are your picks, bro? I imagine they're more or less the same. I would imagine so. Anyway, I can't imagine it being crazy. Cena. See me up that. No. Oh yeah, and then there's another thing I just realized I was in the prediction form. Don't know what that is. Gonna get rid of that. Yep, gonna get id of that. He got right on a spam ass comment. Anyway, there is an interesting thing I saw in the prediction form that just made me think. We got possible surprises, right? Bill Goldberg possibly showing up to help Pat after the fact. Bayley coming back to whoop up on Becky. And Jeff Cobb is another rumored person to possibly come out the woodwork. I know a little bit about Jeff Cobb, not a whole lot. I remember him from Lucha Underground. I used to watch that, so I remember him from that. He's made some appearances in AEW. I know he's over in Japan. Nick, I know you might know a lot more about Jeff Cobb than I do, but I've seen a few of his matches here and there. Dude's a beast. But that was a person that got mentioned in our prediction game for Nah. I don't know if he'll show up personally, but that would be a unique surprise. Another big man for the roster. Another person we haven't seen in a while, Bronson Reed, who, just like Jeff Cobb, is a big man. You want to talk about no bread, no water, just meat. It's Jeff Cobb. It's Bronson Reed. So, we got some people who are due to come back real soon. But I think we're in for some unique, unexpected surprises tonight. I can't see 2 title changes happening, but I can for sure see 1. And again, my heart says Lyra's retaining. My mind says Becky's taking it. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna keep it quick and brief with this one. WWE, they kind of stick to their 5-match card now, which I don't mind. I know others out there complain, and others who don't watch the product even complain, which, hey, it's cool. But nonetheless, those are my predictions for tonight. Quick rundown. I got Dominik retaining, Jacob Fatu retaining, Becky becoming a new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Gunther doing work on Pat, and Cena, the last real champ, quote unquote, beating Randy Orton. Those are my rattled off quick predictions for you guys. But, alright, y'all. That is it for now. I will be back in an hour, just in an hour's time, for Backlash. If I'm right on some of these predictions, hey, cool. If I'm not, y'all get to come back to this and tell me how wrong I am, and everything in between if you so wish. As always, though, if you like it, if you rock with it, if you dig the content, hit that like button below. Helps me in the algorithm, helps keep me out there, especially after the little break I had to, deal with life and grief. Shout out to the Big Rubby Allen. Comment if you're watching the back later on. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I always got pro wrestling content for you guys. I always got music for you guys. Maybe even some other content. We'll see. No promises. And ultimately, if you dig it, share it. If you want to share it, in the next hour with people, see if their predictions are similar, what insight they may have, go ahead, share it around. It's always appreciated, always love. But again, thanks to y'all who are in here. Shout out to my boys. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Nick. Appreciate y'all. Really appreciate you guys taking time to step in. Anyone else who happens to be watching. Appreciate y'all so much. And I will see y'all in an hour's time for Backlash. Let's get it. It's your boy, BDaMan. Always and forever. RIP to my big bro, B. Allen. SOS is eternal, motherfuckers. Peace.